Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird. Welcome to Splatoon, and happy anniversary to all you squid kids out there. Splatoon is officially 1 year old, and the developers are celebrating with a ton of announcements, ranging from a fresh live album with songs we haven't heard before to real-life Splatoon clothing. But the thing you guys are probably the most interested in is Sheldon's Picks Vol. 2, and we have a release date, June 7th, as well as some awesome box art that shows all 8 of the new weapons, and we're going to talk about those while I jump into some turf wars using the first weapon and first set of gear that any Inkling lays their tentacles on, so let's get into it. Alright, I've got my white headband, my basic tee, and my cream basics, a set of gear I have probably not used in about a year, and we're armed with the Splattershot Jr. I remember back then, rollers were OP, tons of people used the Aerospray in turf wars, and everyone thought the chargers were kind of useless. And now you see a ton of chargers and you don't really see too many of the original roller and Aerospray, so things have pretty much completely flipped. But we're gonna get some new versions of a few of the weapons, all 3 of the ones that I mentioned. We're playing on Port Mackerel here with some turf wars, and this was one of the first maps to be released. It was actually the first one to come out post-launch, and after those initial 5, it was like a few days later. And it was so exciting getting new maps and new weapons, and the excitement has not ended because we're about to get more new weapons. So let's talk about Sheldon's Picks Vol. 2. So we've got 8 new weapons, and the only one we really know a lot about is the Corocoro roller, that Splat roller that I mentioned in the last video. And that is a special Splat roller with Splash Wall and Inkzuka. Now the rest of these we don't really know what they're going to have yet, but we'll probably know very soon because they're not too far from releasing. But I'll tell you what they are. We've got an Aerospray, which is kind of bronze or coppery looking. It looks kind of rusted, and it works as a nice counterpart to the silver and gold ones we already have. So we've got the 3 types of Olympic medals in the Aerosprays. We're also getting an H3 Nozzlenose, which has a cherry sticker on it, which is kind of interesting. I'll get into that in a second. There's an N-Zap. Well, speaking of the anniversary, I just got rolled over, squished by a Splat roller. Haven't had that happen in a while. There's an N-Zap that's coming out that is styled after the original Famicom Japanese NES controller and looks pretty cool. We're getting a range blaster with some green flames on it, and that is on the box art with a little intense-looking squid kid and his skull bandana. Almost said skull banana. I don't even know what that would look like. We're getting a Sploosh-o-matic that's kind of hot pink neon-y looking. The Splatterscope that is cool, but also has grass stuck on the side for some reason, kind of reminding me of the kelp one, but it's grass instead of seaweed. And then a heavy Splatling that also has a sticker on it and is crazy colors as well. Now, the thing that I mentioned that's kind of interesting, the cherry sticker on the Nozzlenose. Now, there was a supposed... Whoa, don't want to get rolled. Okay, there we go. There was a supposed leak a little while back that was detailing all of the new weapons coming in Sheldon's Picks Vol. 1 and Vol. 2, and we now know that leak was pretty wrong because some of the weapons they said were coming in Vol. 1 and Vol. 2 ended up not being what we got. But what's interesting is they did mention a Cherry's Dual Squelcher, but we're not getting that. We're getting the H3 Nozzlenose, but the fact that they managed to somehow guess the sticker, or maybe there was a leak and they just got a lot of the weapons mixed up. Even the weapons that they did get right, it seems like the sub and special were all, jarbled around, so I think they might have got some of these sets right and just mixed up the names and weapons for it. So we'll know pretty soon if some of that stuff is true, but we did get that first match pretty well. We had a lot of low-level players on there. I was definitely the highest in this group, so that's a nice throwback to when we first started playing the game. All right, let's do another match here and finish up. Okay, so we're back on Port Mackerel. We got the cool Squid Girl blue and orange here. But yeah, these weapon sets, we can kind of deduce like what some of them are gonna not be, because you look at like the Aerospray and it's not gonna have the Ink Mine or the Seeker and stuff, or the Inkzuka or Ink Strike, because they don't seem to put the same sub and special again on any of the sets. Like they haven't really repeated any of that stuff. So if they're putting new sets out there, they're gonna have new subs and specials for sure. So we can kind of predict some of this stuff, but like I mentioned, the sets will be known to us very soon, but I still wanted to get this news out to you guys, even if we're going to know very quickly what all this stuff will be. But yeah, so we can kind of guess a little bit, but for the most part, it's probably going to be highlighting weaknesses that some of these sets have. Like, we might see support versions of a few of them if they're more aggressive, things like that. Whoa, jeez. The Splattershot Jr. is not a bad weapon still. It's funny that, yeah, they put one of the better weapons as the first one that you get, and it's still useful even later on. It's just funny to go back to using it because I barely use it anymore. And I'm not even, you know, I'm using gear that has a main ability and one little sub. I never upgraded it, but you can still, you know, hold your own with this type of gear and weaponry. You don't have to have everything, you know, decked out with Super Sea Snails and stuff. Oh, jeez. I'll get my bubbler if I can. There we go. All right. Oh, I'm stuck. There's another person using the basic T. I almost wonder if they have the, like, pre-order gear set. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, jeez. Sniped right out of the air by Lenny there. But yeah, it's funny to see that it's you know, not that necessary as much as pro players and people put a lot of emphasis on gear and having those abilities. They're nice to have, but at the core of the game, you don't really need any of them, and all you need is a weapon in your hands to do well. So yeah, we're getting those very soon here, and I'm excited to try them out. Now, I did want to quickly mention the tournament stuff. I was supposed to have the tournament, you know, just a Splatoon tournament for the channel with a few different teams. We're going to try that out for the first time this celebratory anniversary weekend, but it is insanely hot where I'm at. The day when I was supposed to do the tournament, it was 90 degrees outside, and I don't even want to know how hot it was in my office, because if I started streaming, I figured my computer would burst into flames. My setup is going to be actually having 2 Wii U's going. That way I can balance the teams, and I don't want to have to worry about trying to ban tenacity gear, so we're going to allow tenacity gear on all the teams. I've already messaged or put out a tweet to the team members, so they should hopefully see that, and I've got a lot of the teams set up already, so we're mostly set to go. I'm just going to have another little me, you know, jumping in and filling out the teams to balance them, because I know in the comments, Benjamin, he was kind enough to mention that, hey, remember the thing where if the teams aren't balanced in squad mode, they can make the respawn faster? It seems like people have said that might be true or might not be true, but either way, we're going to balance the teams out, so it will always be, you know, an even amount of Squid Kids to make sure that's not a problem and that everybody can use tenacity gear. Thank you guys so much for watching. That is going to be it. I hope you're excited for more Splatoon stuff in the future, and we are done for now. Please leave a like, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.